What's up, guys? This is going to be a short mini video, a quick hitter if you will, breaking down all three of Joe Burrow's interceptions and interceptable balls. I make a distinction and I think this video will show you why. Let's get to the film. So real quick, this is how the routes are going to play out. This is what the pass patterns look like. And here is the defense. So you can tell right off the snap, this is really simple, right? You're in nickel, which means you got two linebackers here and here. You got one single high safety, right? And four down linemen, three cornerbacks. The simplest explanation is typically the right one, right? Occam's razor, which means that this is probably going to be man-to-man coverage with a single high safety shading to the deepest route on the right, which means, like, realistically, they're double teaming Jamar Chase because they think Jamar Chase is going to run a streak, and it's man-to-man across the rest. Now let's see this play out. As you can see, it's jam coverage. The cornerbacks get into the wide receivers quickly, which means you're going to have to either use leverage or win deep in order to win on this route, right? You can also see Joe Burrow's got a perfectly clean pocket. Now here, Joe Burrow lets go of the ball. Again, pretty clean pocket. There's a guy approaching him. He could have held the ball another blink of an eye, but in the NFL, 2.5 seconds is a good normal time to have in the pocket. So a blink of an eye is a significant amount of time. And Burrow just throws the corner wrong. He leaves it way inside. Now, PFF said that this isn't an interceptable pass because T. Higgins has inside leverage, and when Joe Burrow lets go of the ball, he expects T. Higgins to maintain that inside leverage and go and snag the ball, basically break his route off for the equivalent of a back shoulder. Now, it's pretty obvious after you watch that tight copy that this is easily caught ball, right? The only question is if it's Burrow's fault or if the receiver did something wrong. So, again, let's watch it from the sideline angle, see everything play out, knowing the concept that is going on the field. And look at where the ball is let go. Like, T. Higgins is already breaking onto his corner, because that's where all the leverage is, right? He had a guy inside. He's got a lot of room outside. I don't understand. I really don't understand. Let's go back and find the exact moment that Joe Burrow throws this ball. So Joe Burrow's going to let go of this ball right about now. When he lets go of this ball, there's no leverage to exploit, right? I stopped it at 18 seconds. He's going to let go of the ball at 19 seconds into the video. So this is what Joe Burrow saw that made him throw. Why would he be throwing to inside leverage with this view? Now, yes, the cornerback is outside, but you've also got another defensive back right here. For all Joe Burrow knows, they're going to pass this guy off, and one of these defenders is going to carry with T. Higgins on the inside, turning that into an interception anyway. Right here is where he cocks back and really thinks he's got something, and you can see T. Higgins is already running outside. He's like already turned his body and trying to run outside. Yes, I understand that there's inside leverage, but you can't expect T. Higgins to know that he's supposed to turn his outbreaking corner into a post or even an in. It's clearly a bad ball. It's clearly a pickable ball. I don't understand how any good faith actor can call that a bad throw instead of an interceptable throw. Not only was it intercepted, but it was extremely easily intercepted because Joe Burrow did the wrong thing. Maybe he got heated up and under the pressure he panicked and thought, I can make something fun happen here. I'm Joe Burrow, fuck it. But in a close game, you don't throw the ball to the middle of the field against the play's recipe, right? The play asked you to do something and you did something else. Now here, this third pick, this is the final pick we're going to go over in this video. It's not Joe Burrow's fault. Let's just watch this play again from the sideline. It's a bad ball. It's underthrown. It should have been 5 yards further downfield, and then if that's the case, T. Higgins has a shot. If it's a little higher, T. Higgins has a shot. But that's not Joe Burrow's fault. Let's diagram the play. First off, very clear we've got 2 safeties on top, 2 linebackers, still nickel, and a corner that is playing in the slot. You've got 4 wide, right? 1, 2, 3, and 4, plus a running back. This means that it's probably going to be zones, or you're probably going to have an opportunity with your slot receiver on a linebacker. One of the two. It's hard to tell right now because of the way that this linebacker right here is staggered, right? He could go outside or he could stay in a zone. But what we definitely know is that our double move at the bottom of the route, which is T. Higgins, is our primary read, and he's going to be double covered. So we probably shouldn't be throwing to him unless we really just want to... like, if you're playing 500, go ahead, you know? I don't know if you guys play 500 or 5,000 as kids, where you just throw the ball as high in the air and your friends catch it, you assign a point value. If you're playing 500, go ahead and see if T. Higgins can just moss everybody in the world. But otherwise, you've got better options, right? It turns out that it is zone, which means you do have not your slot, but you're flat, because everybody that was supposed to be covering to the, everybody is shaded inside, right? So you've got your flat. I understand it's pretty well covered and there's not a ton of options, but if you're gonna throw this ball, again, look at the leverage of the defensive backs. T. Higgins is doubled. It is double coverage. You are playing 500 with a 6'5" wide receiver who's got arguably the best ball-winning skill set in the NFL between his height, his jumping ability, and his hands. Put the ball high and outside, because even if you miss, he can jump and make it better. Instead, notice how T. Higgins has to slow down to adjust and make sure that he has a play on the ball. Yes, Cook does a good job of getting a hand on it, but if Burrow leads T. Higgins and puts the ball out here, this is an easy catch. Like, T. Higgins had to slow down just to get into phase to make a play on the ball. And because he had to slow down, the backup safety had a chance to get a hand on the ball. Here it is one more time. And yeah, Joe Burrow had a guy on his back, but this is the problem. So Joe Burrow is going to let this ball go from about the 28. Line of scrimmage is about the 30, 31. And it's going to go to about the opposing 30. So we're looking at about a 40 air yard throw from launch point to contact. That's about 30, 35 yards downfield. That's not a very far throw by NFL standards. And while it's not disqualifying that Joe Burrow does not have a strong arm, right? Like, there are plenty of weak arm quarterbacks who are pretty good. There are even some weak arm quarterbacks who are great. Look at Peyton Manning. But there are certain things you can't do as a weak arm quarterback. It limits your offense and it limits your decisions. Here, Joe Burrow makes a throw that a quarterback with B arm strength makes, but Joe Burrow is not that. He does not have B arm strength, at least amongst NFL starters.
Now this last pass is not interceptable. It's bad, right? It should get broken up most of the time, but it's effectively a jump ball between a safety in trailing technique and a jump ball wide receiver. So I give Joe Burrow the benefit of the doubt on the third one. All in all, I graded him with 2 interceptable passes in this game, and that's not good. It's a lot worse than the PFF 1 turnover-worthy play grade, and they gave him like an A- grade on this game. They thought he played great. Obviously, I didn't. If you want to see why I didn't, I'm going to put a card right here, and you can check out my full game breakdown where I grade every single throw Joe Burrow made in this game. That being said, I don't think it was terrible. There are some people online who are saying, oh, Joe Burrow threw 4 picks. Now, one of them was actually a great throw, and it was obviated for defensive pass interference. And I'm not going to get into that play because there was a defensive pass interference. Get over it. It's over. But it's pretty clear to me that Joe Burrow played a bad game. I wish it was as terrible as the 4-pick game that some people on Twitter seem to have seen. Unfortunately, it is only a bad game. Till next time, I'll be watching film. Hasta.